Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. How are you guys doing? Federal Skilled Trade Worker Program is something that many subscribers, the future Canadians, have been asking me. So finally I decided to do the research and I have decided to make this video and tell you guys what are the pros and cons of Federal Skilled Trade Programs and how you can educate yourself about it. And if you can, you can make yourself eligible for this program. So watch this video till the end because it might open up a new door for you. Okay. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can qualify for Federal Skilled Trades Program. And it is one of those programs that is, less talked about ways of Canadian immigration because it has a certain requirement that is kind of a hidden thing and nobody talks about it. Many applicants don't know about it and they think that they can apply, but in reality, they cannot apply. So you have to know the truth. And on this channel, I talk about Canadian immigration and I try to give you no false hopes, okay? And I think that what I have written in the thumbnail, I haven't even made the thumbnail yet, but what I will write in the thumbnail, I will be able to prove that in this video, okay? So let's start the video. The Federal Skilled Trades Program, FST. It is basically an express entry program. There are three express entry pathways. One is Federal Skilled Worker Program, FSW, that everybody knows about. Canadian Experience Class, CEC class, that everybody knows about since the pandemic started because they are conducting the CEC class only draws, okay? And the third one is FST, Federal Skills Trade. And on the paper, it looks like a very simple program and like everybody can apply for it. But let's dig deep into what this program actually is. So if you want to be eligible for this program, then you should know this, that it is a program that is based around skilled trades. Now, what are skilled trades? These are basically NOC skill level B, okay? And the major groups of those NOCs start with 7.2, 7.3, 8.2 and 9.2, okay? If your NOC starts with these two digits, or if it starts with 632 or 633, that is for butchers and bakers and chefs and cooks maybe, okay? So if your NOC falls into these categories, then you can become eligible for Federal Skilled Trade Program. And obviously for like the FSW program, you have to have masters, you have to have those things, you have to have at least CLB 9 to stand a chance in making your mark for FSW or express entry for that matter, okay? But for FST program, if you have these skill levels, then obviously they don't expect you to score a CLB 10. I mean, if you do, it is a plus. But they don't expect you to score a CLB 10, or they don't expect you to have an MBA or a PhD for that matter, okay? So what are the requirements for these programs? If you have these NOCs, okay? So first of all, the work experience. The work experience needs to be at least 2 years in the recent 5 years, okay? And if you have a part-time work experience, then it can be like 4 years. That will be equal to 2 years of full-time work experience. So that is a simple maths question, okay? So full-time 2 years work experience is required. That's the first thing. Now, when you count that work experience, that should be after the date you become eligible for working independently in that NOC. Okay, so for that you have to check your NOC, you have to check the NOC requirements, and you have to meet all those NOC requirements. That is the basic eligibility for applying towards Federal Skilled Trade Program. And when you will see the NOC requirements, it may or it may not say that you need a certificate of qualification. And that certificate of qualification will be discussed at the end of this video when we talk about the provinces, different provinces, okay? Now that was the first point that I wanted to make about Federal Skilled Trade Program, okay? And the second point that I want to make is there is no education requirement. Even if you have like metric or intermediate, you can become eligible for applying to this program, okay? But if you have like a bachelor's or intermediate or even master's for that matter, you should get an ECA because it will help you gaining those rare CRS points that will matter a lot, okay? So you should get a ECA if you have foreign qualification. And if you have qualification from Canada, then obviously you should not be getting an ECA because that's not the requirement. Okay. Number 3 point on my list is language ability. Okay. Now we're not talking about CLB 9s, CLB 8s, that's for Saskatchewan, but all you need is CLB 5 and CLB 4. Now, it is a very interesting thing. They want you to score a CLB 5 in speaking and listening. These are the basically everyday thing that you're going to do, because like a plumber would not be expected to write a letter. Okay, he should be able to communicate with the client. Okay, so that's the basic requirement of the job. So for that you need to have CLB 5. That's the least level that even a skilled trade person should expect to achieve. Okay, so CLB 5 for speaking and listening. For reading and writing, you can score CLB 4, and that will be fine. And there, mind you, there is no lower level than CLB 5, CLB 4 in language testing. Okay, so basically for the minimum level of CLB, Canadian Language Benchmark, is enough for you to apply. If you have CLB 4 in writing and reading and CLB 5 in listening and speaking. Okay, that's the third point. Now the fourth point is proof of fund. If you are living in Canada and if you're legally allowed to work there, or if you have a valid job offer of at least 1 year, then you don't need to show proof of funds. The idea is that since you have a job offer, you would be able to support yourself financially. That's why you don't need to show proof of funds. But if you don't have a job offer, you can still apply for this program, Federal Skilled Trade Program. But if you don't have a job offer, then you need to show proof of funds, and that POF amount would be same as the express entry rules, because this is basically an express entry program. Okay, now these were about the basic abilities and basic eligibility criteria. Now the most important thing that I want to dig deep in this video, because I don't just want to make a video and tell you guys that these are the requirements and you can go and get it. I want to basically dig deep into how you can get a certificate of qualification. Okay, if you are living outside of Canada. Okay, so that's the main point of this video, and I hope this thing will help you a lot. At least it will help you in a way that you won't be fooled if an immigration consultant tells you that even if you're a plumber, because in UAE many problems are rising up the surface. Many consultants tell you that you're an air conditioner technician, so give me my money and I will help you apply for FST. But this is the main thing, certificate of qualification. That is a trade certificate and you need it. So this video is for educational purpose. Okay, so if you, at the end of the video, if you ask me, if you comment below that you want me to help you get a certificate of qualification, then I'm not a consultant and I will not be able to help you. But the reason why I'm making this video is to educate you guys. Okay, so the first thing about certificate of qualification is that you need to pick a province. Okay, for example, if you want to live in Saskatchewan, let's take the example of Saskatchewan. If you want to live in Saskatchewan, then you should get a trade certificate from that province. Now, if you get a trade certificate from, let's say, Saskatchewan, okay, and you want to live in like Ontario, then when you move to Ontario, you will need to get a trade certificate from them. Okay, so like all provinces have different regulatory bodies. Okay, so once you have decided your province, like our example Saskatchewan, then you need to go to their website. I will leave the link below. In fact, let me take you to their website on my mobile phone, and I will show you how you can do it, because most important thing is, as an international worker, you can get a certificate of qualification, but you will need to visit that province or territory in person in order to challenge, in order to pass that certificate of qualification. Okay, so let's go to the mobile phone screen. Alright, this is the official website for Federal Skilled Trades, and I have almost talked about everything that is written here. Okay, so I wouldn't go into these details, but as I promised, I would take you to the Saskatchewan website and I will give you an example of how you can apply for a trade certificate And on this website, we have to click on the international application process, okay, because that's what our intention is. And when we click on that, they will give us some steps that we have to follow, and we'll go through all those steps. Okay, so the first step is apply for assessment. You will have to complete this form, okay, and this form. Once you complete these two forms, that's the first step completed, okay, and you pay the fee. And the second step is you provide the evidence for your work experience, including your transcripts and your credentials and your employee letters, self-employment information, okay. So these are the evidence requirements, and there is a sample form of 6A that you can look at, and it will help you fill up your form. And the third step is the verification process, okay. The SATCC assessment unit, it completes the assessment process. It verifies your hours, your dates, your tasks performed, and once after all these things are verified, you will get a result letter. That is step 4, okay. And this result letter is not the trade certificate, okay. Do not confuse it. As it is also written here, it is not a certificate of qualification. It is only the result of assessment, okay. And once you have received this assessment, then you apply for examination. You challenge the test, and this process can also be explained with this flow chart, okay. The first step is you apply for assessment. The second step is that they process your assessment and you receive the result letter. If your assessment is approved, okay, then you will be needing to apply to take exam, okay, and that is called challenging the exam. But what they have not mentioned here, but what is something mandatory, is that you will have to visit Canada. And as you know, during these travel restrictions time and the pandemic, the visa process is not easy. But once they open their visit visas, the things that help you usually is your travel history. If you have traveled to another country and you have successfully come back, and you have not continued your stay there on an illegal basis, then that travel history is one thing. And these such things like your proof of funds, your ties, your past history, these things matter a lot while applying for a visitor visa, okay. But you will have to visit Canada in person, visit that province in person, and you will have to challenge the exam, okay. And that exam, after you fulfill the requirements and you pass the exam, then you become a journey person, okay. That's the certificate that you needed, journey person certificate. So to challenge that journey person exam, you have to be in Canada, either on a visit visa or a temporary resident visa, TRV, whatever it is, but you have to be in that province where you are applying for the trade certificate, okay. So yeah, this was the process. Now I hope everything is clear, and I have given you the pros and cons of this program. Now let's go back to the mobile phone camera. All right, so I hope you liked the screen recording that I shared with you. But as you guys know, that on this channel I don't endorse false hopes. So let me talk about how you're going to get selected if you have become an FST candidate, okay. So historically, they have been conducting 2 FST draws per year, okay. If you are an FST candidate and you can score 480 points, then obviously you would be getting selected in the all program draw. But if you don't have that much CRS, if you have CRS like in early 400s, then you would be waiting for a specific FST draw. And they conduct 2 such draws every year. Only year was 2020, because due to pandemic, they conducted only 1 draw in 2020. But in 2019, they had 2 draws, 2018, 2 draws, 2017, 2 draws. So that is the history, okay. So we are expecting that there will be at least 1 draw in 2021, okay. And the last cutoff of the May draw number 159 for FST candidate in 2020 was 415, okay. So it is not as high as FSW candidates, and that is the main advantage, okay. So I hope you have gotten the necessary education about the FST program. And still, if you have any confusions, you can ask me in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them as best of my ability. This is Ali Iftikhar, and I'm signing off.